let's look at how type can become a shape. Now I'm a little reluctant to show beginners this because lots of times people use this and get carried away and do something awful. This should be used very minimally. As we move into logo design, a key concept is going to be simple yet unique. And what this allows for is it can allow for that something unique. Now I'm going to show you this, but don't do this very often. But it is a tool that you can use. So I'm going to take my type tool, click on my screen. I'm going to type out the word Futura, highlight it, and actually change it to Futura. I'm going to take Futura bold like that. You can see I came under here, I have extra bold. With my selection tool, the black arrow, I'm going to click on it, right? You see the bounding box around it? I am not in with the type tool like this. I have the selection tool. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come up to type and I'm going to convert this. Oops, nope, we want to create outlines. Create outlines. Shift, Command O. Alright? Shift, Command O. Creates outlines. What you'll now see is when I click on it, or if I take the direct selection tool, it'll be a little bit easier, and I click on one letter, and I'll zoom in just to help out just a little bit. Oops, there we go. Now you can see that there are anchor points, right, and paths. It has now become a shape. From this point on, we can no longer change what we've typed because it is no longer type. But this is what we can do. Now we can come in and with the white arrow, the direct selection tool, I can double click on a point. We did something similar to this with the robot, if you remember. We learned about moving shapes a little bit, right? And I can take that down. I can also come in and take this individual letter. I'm going to double click on my swatch here and let's just, we'll make this red. Whoops. Red way up there somewhere. Click OK. Same thing here. I can even eyedrop it, make sure I get the same color red. I can eyedrop that one. When I take it or click on it now with my selection tool, it's still all one. Direct selection tool, I can click off and do individual shapes. I can also select it all as one, come up to object because it's now no longer type, it is now an object, and I could ungroup it. Then with the selection tool, I can select it. So that does allow you to do some interesting things, but be very careful with it as you want to do it selectively to give yourself something unique. Now with that said, you do want to do it almost every time. We're not going to worry about it in this class, but I do want to put it out there for those of you that might do this professionally or do some projects on the side. If you were to create something with typography, a logo for somebody, a business card, a poster, and you sent it to the print shop or to Kinko's or something like that and had it printed, they may not have the font that you used because you may download fonts, you may purchase fonts. There are some fonts on Mac that Windows doesn't have. So what you want to do as part of the post-print process, and we're going to, our post-production process after print, we'll talk about this later, but this technique is used at the end of a design. You click on your words and you can create outlines out of them. Now when you send them to the printer, they don't have to have the font because remember that's no longer type, it's a shape. And it'll allow them to print without having Futura installed, for example. Okay, so that is a time that you would want to use it. Creating something simple and unique, and at the end of the design process, if you weren't going to make any more changes, final print, create outlines, send it off to the printer.